All right, welcome to the second The Thrive Show live. I am so excited to be here with you. We aim to provide you tips and insights for thriving as you authentically are. And this is also one of the vehicles that we use to remind you that you have an open invitation to join the Let Your Light Shine movement, all about inspiring and empowering you to be who you authentically are. And I have discovered and been told that people receive a boost when they simply sign up. It's free and easy. You immediately receive an extra boost of self-confidence because you have taken the opportunity to claim who you are and say, yes, I do shine. So I want to remind you, you have an open invitation to join, and I'm going to put that link on the screen here. There it is, that bit.ly link, bit.ly/Let Your Light Shine movement. And with that, I'm going to get on to bringing up today's guest, which I'm very excited to have him here with me today. And throughout today's conversation, if you have thoughts, questions, whatever it may be, please do bring those into the chat because we love to include you in the conversation. So with that, welcome, Leo Lightbourne.
Thank you, Kelvin. It's a pleasure to be on the Thrive Show with you today. I'm happy and excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you here today. You're joining me. I'm in the U.S. and you're joining the conversation today all the way from the
Turks and Caicos Islands. Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so we are going to be talking today with Leo Lightbourne all about empowering fatherless men. And yes. Let me just share with everyone, Leo, when I saw that you joined the movement, number one, I was like, yes, someone else believing in themselves, joining the movement. I love it, love it, love it.
Yes.
And well, but then I read what you shared, and I just, you were talking about why you chose to join the movement and how, you're on this mission to empower fatherless men and
yes.
help support them. And I was just so inspired that I thought, oh my goodness, I have to reach out to him. So
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And it's such a great movement. Let Your Light Shine. That's actually how and it's funny because that's actually how I got my pen name. So I write under the name LT Bourne. My original name is Leonardo Lightbourne. So the idea behind my pen name was to give my light to the world. So I took away the light out of my name and I wrote LT Bourne. But my original name, as you will see on the screen, is Leonardo Lightbourne. But my pen name is LT Bourne because I give my light to the world when I write. So everything just came full circle with this. Yeah.
I love that. Well, I gotta be honest. I thought how perfect is that his name has the word light in it?
Yes.
I thought, did he make that up, or is that
no.
That's cool. I love it.
No, yeah.
Okay, so I have to give a quick shout out. We have got some live viewers with us. Hello to Helene, who is already saying hello to you. And we also have Larry, who's with us. Good to see you, Larry. Awesome. Okay, so Leo, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with everyone a little bit of your background.
Okay.
And then, of course, we'll get into today's conversation, which is going to be very, very meaningful for everyone. So LT Lightbourne is a speaker and author whose professional career began back in 2019 after he published his first book, It's Not a Man's World. In this book, he reveals what it's like for a male growing up in a fatherless household. He is the holder of 2 degrees, an Associate of Arts degree in Business Management from National American University, and has a Bachelor of Science degree in Psychology from the University of Buckingham. And he's currently, I love this, Leo, he's currently employed by the Turks and Caicos Government as a Probation and Parole Officer.
Yes.
And Leo, I used to work for local city government in a police department as well. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
A lot in common.
Yeah, a lot. Exactly. And I want to just add a little bit more. In his early 20s, he discovered his gift of inspiration and leadership. And he founded Open Thought, which is a nonprofit organization created for youth development in the Turks and Caicos Islands, which gives youth a voice and an outlet to express themselves. And that is pretty cool because I've checked out the Instagram page for that. That's pretty awesome how you're doing that.
Thank you.
And I will leave it there. So, Leo, before we get into talking about empowering fatherless men, would you like to share with everyone just a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Okay, so first of all, thank you again for having me on the show. I discovered my gift and inspiration in my early 20s, um, shortly after the passing of someone that was very close to me. And that pushed me, that ignited something in me to see that someone so young passed away and they didn't get to share their gifts with the world. And I just felt a conviction on myself to live a life of leadership, a life of purpose. And so ever since his passing, I've been on this journey of just maximizing every potential I have within myself to serve this world to my highest capacity. So when he died, I got my first degree. While getting my first degree, I started Open Thought. We did school tours, we did mentorship programs, we did summer camps, radio shows, and the purpose was to empower young men because a lot of our young men were lost in society. So we started a group of young men, and we were out in the community. We were very engaged. And then I got an opportunity to go and study psychology. I capitalized on that. Came back home, and I saw an opportunity to raise awareness about the fatherless epidemic that was happening in my community and also globally. And that's when my first book came. And ever since then, I would say I've been blooming. I don't think I'm shining to my highest capacity, but I feel as though the flame just keeps getting brighter and brighter as I discover more ways to allow my light to shine. So that's pretty much my journey in a nutshell.
You know what? And I personally believe that we all have more room to grow into
Yes.
who we are and our light and shining and all of that. But I would say you're doing a great job because I
Thank
felt
you.
that. Yeah.
Thank you.
So you're doing good. So, okay. So, and hello to Tanika, who is also with us today. Good to see you, Tanika.
Yes.
Okay, so Leo, I do have a few questions for you because we want to hear more about how you inspire and empower people. And we want to first start with talking about this concept of finding yourself.
Yeah.
One of the things you want to talk about today. And so I would first love for you to just simply tell us, why is this important as it relates to empowering men, fatherless men?
Yes. We have to understand that we are all born into scripts. And when we follow these scripts, we don't live an authentic life. And when we are not living our authentic life, people cannot feel the energy we're giving off. They cannot feel our passion, our drives. I've gone into rooms where people said immediately they felt something when I speak. And the only reason why they feel something when I speak is because I've taken that time out to find out why I speak. I know where my why comes from when I speak. I know what my purpose is when I speak. And in order for you to speak with passion that ignites a whole room, you have to know who you are. You have to know what path you're on. Now, I'm not saying you're going to know where the path goes, but at least you know where the path that you're on and your tribe, because this also allows you to find your tribe and have some sort of identity in this life, And so we have to, there's this quote about, I think Socrates says it about an unexamined life is not worth living. So we have to examine life and pick apart the scripts that's been given to us and find out, does this script apply to me? Does this script help my journey? If it doesn't, you have to shed that away. And sometimes the shedding away is uncomfortable because you're shedding away your culture and societal norms. But you're stepping into your true self. And once you step into your true self, you attract the people that are meant to be inside your life. And that's also my purpose of joining the Let Your Light Shine movement, because even though I'm shedding away these scripts that society has given me, I am now living an authentic life, which allows me to connect with more like-minded individuals so that we can be on this journey together to empowering the world. One of the most beautiful things about technology is that you do not feel alone anymore. It
Right.
has connected more light individual, more light bearers together. And so we are living in a time where we can actually, not actually, we will make a difference in the world as long as we continue to network and work together. But in order to get to that process, you must find out who you are.
Oh my goodness. Yes. I so feel that as you speak. Before we move on to the next point, do you recall about when it was that you realized that you were operating off of a script and had to learn more about who you truly are?
I realized that when I started my first when I launched Open Thought.
Okay.
Open Thought, it showed me that I had the power to be the change that I wanted to see in my society. At that time, there were so many negative narratives about young men. And so I took it upon myself, along with a group of friends, to change that narrative. And that's when I realized the power that I have. And the Gandhi quote of "be the change that you want to see" kind of resonated more with me. You know, it's me that has to make the difference, not society. Sometimes we're putting so much pressure on society to change, but we don't want to change. The change starts with us, and us taking the initiative, and us being accountable for our actions. That's where true change starts. And once we change ourselves and we take the initiatives and we be accountable, then people will start to gravitate to that and want to change as well, because they'll see how the positive impact is having on their lives, and they'll want that for themselves as well. So that's when I realized my light, when I launched Open Thought.
That's very powerful. And that brings me to the next point is you also believe that it's important for fatherless children to create value in other people's lives. Will you
Yes.
say more about that?
Yeah. You know, we don't get to pick the families we come from.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get to pick the way our story starts, but we get to pick the way it's going to end. We have an opportunity to fight the statistics and to change the narrative around fatherless males and fatherless females, because right now, as we speak, there is an epidemic that's happening globally in the US, in the Caribbean. I don't know about Europe. I haven't looked at statistics in Europe and Africa, but in the Caribbean and America specifically, the amount of single parent households has been on an increase since the mid 60s. So there is an epidemic that's happening, and when you look at the prison population, 90% of males inside a prison are fatherless males. So it is having a negative impact, these single parent households. And we have to recognize that, and we have to tell ourselves that, listen, I am not going to become a negative statistic. You have when you are born in a single parent household, based on these statistics, you already have darkness surrounding you, of poverty, of crime, of a lot of disadvantages in society. You you have power within yourself to choose not to allow those disadvantages to impact you. And the minute you break through and you show the world that, listen, this is what I overcame to be where I am today, you automatically become an inspiration to everyone around you. You have defeated a statistic, something that is not normal. So you become an what Malcolm Gladwell called an outlier. And I think we all should be aspiring to break again that societal norm, because that's how you become your true self. And so if you're looking to become your true self, you have to even question the things that may seem normal to you. Is single parent household a normal thing? You know, you have to examine society and answer some tough questions when you're on this journey of self-discovery. And if you feel as though that's not normal, you can write a book about it like I did, or you can support individuals that's working towards addressing these abnormalities in society.
Well, I will also say, well, yes, I love hearing you speak. So one of the reasons why I love why I love hearing you speak too is because although I did have experiences with my father and we had our own unique relationship, I very much also felt like I had an absent father. And, and so even though our conversation today is about empowering fatherless men, this to me is universal. It doesn't matter if you're male or female, there's something
Yes.
here for you. So will you share with us now what your experience was like as you grew up without a father?
My mother, she was the perfect mom. She did everything a single parent mother should have done in raising a son, providing and clothes and resources and opportunities for me to excel and education. She did a phenomenal job at that. Now, when it comes to me navigating society and figuring out how to be a male, that's where my challenge just started to happen. Fortunate for me, I had my uncles and I had my best friend's dad who provided mentorship and taught me a lot about manhood and how I should behave and navigate and the type of decisions I should make and the type of man I should be. So he basically took me under his wing. If I didn't have that, I easily could have ended up a statistic. But because of his mentorship, and this is a message for all mothers out there who have sons, mentorship programs is a way to help your son beat those negative statistics, even females. Finding a great mentor, someone that's trustworthy, someone who is gonna take the time out to respond to your messages at any time of the night or day. I had that type of mentor in life. Even when I went to university, and a lot of us know how university could be. You know, you're away and you're not in the city that's familiar with you, and there's so many obstacles you're going through. I didn't have my father, but I had my mentor, and he was answering emails at 2 o'clock in the morning and talking to me. So if I didn't have that, I don't think I would have made it out of that in a good mental state. But I was fortunate to have such a great mentor, and he really helped me. And I came back home, and I saw that. Well, I wasn't aware of the fatherless epidemic while I was in uni, but when I came back home and I realized that, I came from a society where a lot of my friends are actually fatherless males. And what if they didn't have this mentorship? What if they didn't have this guidance or these insights? So I decided to write a book, which is more of a book about my journey of coming into myself and self-discovery and some of the major lessons I learned on the way, and also about forgiveness. These were things that I grasped in my growth, and I felt as though, listen, it would be unfair to me to not give my society a blueprint. So I gave them a blueprint of how I did it, how I found myself. Now, not because something worked for me, it will work for you, but at least you have an example or something to look up to and say, okay, if LT Bourne did it, if Leo did it, then I could do it. So I did that project as a sign of hope for the fatherless male that's out there, that the statistics are against you. You might not have the mentorship or whatever, or the resources, but here's a book for you to read and learn some of the things that I did and some of the discoveries I've made. And maybe it just might be one paragraph that helps you to excel. So that was my idea behind this project. And ever since then, that's what I've been trying to spread light on, increasing the awareness of this epidemic that's going on in our society today.
I think that's awesome. And for anybody who's listening only to today's conversation, I do want to make sure to say the title of your book, which is called It's Not a Man's World: How I Conquered the Sins of My Father, written by LT Bourne. And of course, that is on the screen here for everyone who's watching. I hear that you are really using a lot of what what you were given, right? What showed up
Yeah.
for you in your life, and you're taking some pieces and saying, you know what, I want to transform this, and other
Right.
pieces and going, I want to share this
Yes.
because this can be a gift for other people, and
Yes.
that is so inspiring. So,
Yes.
okay, so now let's talk about forgiveness. Forgiveness can be so hard to do, but I know also that there's, of course, so much value in it. Will you share with us why you want to place emphasis on forgiveness in our conversation today?
Of course. Forgiveness. Well, let me start off with this.
Okay.
Carrie Fisher once said that resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. When we don't forgive people, we hold on to things that's eating us inside, and we think that it's hurting them. Mind you, that person is out there living their best life. But we have an artistic reality that because I'm not forgiving this person, they're hurting. Reality check, they're not hurting, you're hurting yourself. If you're gonna step into your true light and your true purpose and your true self, you're gonna have to let go of the pain and the transgressions that has happened to you, and accept that as a part of the learning experience, as a part of your journey. Because when you hold on to that, you actually put barriers up, and you don't allow things in and you don't allow things out, and that stunts your growth. Imagine your roots being inside this steel pot. Your roots want to extend deep into the ground, and the more deeper it grows, the more nutrients your tree will get. But because you have your roots in this steel pot of unforgiveness, your roots cannot extend, your tree cannot grow, your tree cannot get any more nutrients. So that's the reason why forgiveness is important, because you want to allow your roots to be freely into the ground, so your tree can be rooted strongly against any storm, because those storms are gonna come. And if you don't forgive, if you don't master forgiveness, then you're only gonna increase your weight, and eventually you're gonna fall down with all that unforgiveness built inside of you. You're gonna fall down, your tree is not gonna be rooted, and that storm is gonna blow you down. So you have to learn how to let go and to love people again. And I'll share this message with you before I leave. The message, the intent of my book was to meet my father and forgive him. And last month, May, I accomplished that. My father for the first time, we hugged. And early in my 20s, I pictured that going completely different as to what had happened last month. Early in my 20s,
Hey,
go ahead.
Leo, the audio got kind of broken up there. Are
Okay.
you saying, did you say that last month you got to meet your father?
Yes, last month I got to meet my father for the first time. Yeah.
Wow.
And it was amazing. And it went completely different. Like in my early 20s, I thought I had so much anger built up inside of me that the minute I saw my father, I wanted to like fight him and curse him. But now, when I met him last month, I just hugged him out of love, out of
Oh,
compassion. And that was nurtured through me understanding the purpose of forgiveness, and the emotions I felt was for me. It wasn't for my father. The release I felt when I hugged my father for the first time, it was like, man, the weight of the world is finally off my shoulders. And yeah,
do you?
it go ahead.
I was just going to say, you were speaking to when we don't forgive, we block ourselves off from all that growth, and that beautiful
Yeah.
tree metaphor you gave.
Yes.
And I was going to say that growth can look like new relationships or new professional
Yes.
opportunities, or
Yes.
right, growing just as an individual, clearly. And
Yes.
I want to ask you, do you feel that you were well, I don't know the circumstances around you meeting your dad, but
Yeah.
do you feel that that opportunity came about because you had done the forgiveness first?
Yes, it did. I opened up my heart and my life to it. I made peace with what he did and his decision, his rejection. I made peace with that. I did not say it was the right thing to do. I just said I accepted his decision and I'm gonna love you through that. And I'm not gonna allow that to hold me down anymore. I when I in my book I wrote a whole chapter about forgiveness and how I came to that. But I realized that my father didn't hurt me because of me. He hurt me because of the pain he was going through.
Right.
And whatever somebody did to him in his early childhood or adult life, he probably couldn't figure out a better coping mechanism to deal with it, like most men, because men are not taught to express themselves and show vulnerability. So because he couldn't let it go, it stunted his growth, and unfortunately, that stunted his growth with me, his son as well. And so I was able to develop that perspective, and that is what allowed me to hug my father and show him love. Like, he got love last month when I saw him. There was nothing else, because for me, it was my growth. This is my journey, and I'm not gonna allow no negativity or my past to govern me. I'm gonna be in this moment. I'm gonna find happiness, and I'm gonna reconnect with love, because love is the emotion that's most missing in this world today. And if we connect with love and reconnect with it, then we automatically make this world a better place.
How did he feel when you were able to embrace him and receive him with that love and forgiveness?
Honestly, I felt as though he was excited, because it was like he wanted it to happen himself. It wasn't awkward at all. I thought it would have been awkward, and it was like I was staring in my brother's eye, like a twin brother's eye. Literally, like we saw each other. Like, me and him are exactly the same height. So it was literally like you seeing your how do I say it? Like,
your doppelganger or your twin? I mean,
well, yeah, but someone that you've known all your life. Like,
okay.
it's like walking in a room and you're seeing that person, and y'all just hug and embrace, and you go about talking. That's what it felt like. It didn't feel like I didn't felt like he was a stranger to me, or he didn't embrace me as a stranger. It was like it was supposed to happen. That's how I knew that moment was destined. Like, it wasn't forced. Everything just flowed perfectly. So on his part, and I'll share some of the I'll share a part of that conversation with you.
Okay.
He told me he had intentions of reaching out to me. I'm not sure if it's true. We still have to meet up again and really have an in-depth conversation. But he told me that he's always wanted to talk about his decision to walk out of my life and not come back. And so that is something that hopefully I'll get an opportunity to write another book about in the near future, about the healing process and the growth beyond that. But right now we are working towards meeting up and talking and getting to know each other more, and really, me starting to understand the paternal side of my family, which is going to give me a stronger identity as well. So it's a journey, and I'm not sure how long this journey is going to be, but it's a journey for sure.
Absolutely. And I want to give thank you for sharing all of that.
No problem.
It's very inspiring. So I want to give a shout out to Dominique Brightman, who said,
"Hey, Dom."
Yes, and Dom recently had an interview with you as well, and that is now out on the Going North podcast. So if you want to check out and hear more from Leo Lightbourne, definitely check out the Going North podcast for more awesome stories and inspiration. Oh my goodness. And Helene is already saying, thank you all for keeping the positive thinking in this world. and impacting the world with change. Appreciate you all. Well, thank you, Helene. We appreciate you too. Thank you.
We love you.
Okay, so Leo, last but not least, tell us why it is important that our last point in this discussion be about becoming your best self. Lots of coaches and empowerment conversations center around this topic. And of course, I'm passionate about it myself as a coach. I get all this,
Yes.
but why do you include it in this particular conversation as a tip for fatherless men?
Because you becoming your best self ignites the pathway for others to become their best selves and defeat the things that they've gone through on their journeys as fatherless males. We all have different journeys as fatherless male, but one thing we all have in common is that want for our Father's love and approval. If you're able to navigate society and defeat the odds and become the best servant to your society and people, then you provide a pathway for other men who have gone through similar experiences that you've gone through to do that. And by doing that, you're helping your village to become stronger because, like I said earlier in the discussion, this is a pandemic. The single parent household is increasing in our society today. So we have to understand that once we are able to live our best lives as fatherless males, we are actually helping to create a safer society, especially when you look at the prison statistics and see that the majority of prison inmates come from homes where there are father figures inside the home. So by living your best self, society becomes its best model. So that's why it's important for you as a fatherless male to beat the odds and beat the statistics, because by doing so, you are making this world a better place because you are defeating the negative statistics that are pointing towards you. So
yeah,
choose to be your best self.
Yeah, I think of it as each one teach one.
Yes.
By learning who you authentically are. And I think what a special, that is so awesome that you are working as a probation and parole officer. Are you able to have conversations like this with the people you encounter?
Of course, and that's why I took up the job, because I realized the impact this was having on our society, this fatherless epidemic was having on our society. And so I wanted to learn more deeply about these homes and about these males. And, the more I encounter these males, the more I come into grips with myself. I see myself in a lot of these males, and I'm like, wow, this could have been me. If this person didn't pull me away or didn't nurture me, or this wasn't done by my mother or my uncle or my mentor, I actually could have been this type of male. So to see that I dodged so many things and was put in this position, I'm happy, because now I can serve at my highest capacity to these males to help them to turn their lives around. Bear in mind, you can't save everybody, but at least I can save a few of these males and help them to turn their lives around and their family lives around so that they can become productive citizens. And so I saw this as a phenomenal opportunity to help others like myself.
And I think it's also important to acknowledge, and I think you already sort of touched on this, but important to acknowledge for everyone out there that, even though we may have similarities in our stories, no two stories are alike. And I think that's worth mentioning, because that can be a trap when you're thinking, this person did this, how come it doesn't work for me? Because it's about finding your unique, authentic path towards healing and moving forward and all of that. And so with that, Leo, what would you say could be like just a first step for the person who's, not sure where to even start, but they know, yes, they want to be their best self and they want to heal, they want to be able to forgive. Do you have any just thoughts on what's a simple first step they can take to move in that direction?
They want to heal, they want to forgive. I'm just trying to replay it in my mind.
I know, and I think it's one of these questions that there can be so many different first steps. So
Right.
if there's nothing that comes to the forefront of your mind, that's fine. But
You
just
know,
simply go ahead.
One of the things that helped me on my journey was really understanding the history of my
That's
society
right.
and
There we
my
go.
family. That connecting with my family's history and to society history as well is what helped me to not feel so distant, so different. So if you're a male that is lost, try to ask questions with your family members, your uncles, and find out, what they went through as males growing up, what their fathers did, or other males. Try to look for people that are successful and see their stories, their history, and you will start to see that you are not alone in this world, because that's also an issue. A lot of times as fatherless males, we feel like we're alone. So I think the first thing to do is to conquer your loneliness, and the way you conquer your loneliness is knowing your history and knowing the history of other males who have gone through what you are about to go through or what you intend to go through. And for some of these males, like myself, we've written books that can help you to understand a perspective of that journey. Now, it wouldn't paint the full picture for you, but it'll give you a snapshot of what would be in store for you if you embark on this journey of healing and becoming your best self and living your best life. So for me, I would say the first step is conquering your loneliness as a fatherless male. And the way you do that is by knowing your history and studying the history and stories of others who have gone through this journey.
That's a great point. That's a great point. And you also mentioned earlier about when you recognize that a reason why someone may have hurt you is very possibly because they were hurting first.
Yes.
And I think that's worth mentioning again, because let's say someone doesn't have, uncles or maybe was, adopted, and they don't have any link to their, I don't know, well, for whatever reason, maybe you don't have a link to your family history, then can it possibly open some pathways to start to consider, you know what, as much as this hurt me, gosh, I wonder what that person must have been going through. Right. And so
Yes.
not to make excuses, but to just open the pathway towards that healing.
Yes.
And I would also say, let's remind everyone about your book, because I do think that reading stories is also very helpful as well. And so I'm looking for that again really quick. So you can put it up here to remind everyone about your book.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me take a quick look over at the comments. Hello to Lillian, who has also joined us today. Good to see you, Lillian. And I've seen people come in and out, and I think they're just taking in the message of, of receiving the empowerment and being reminded that they are not alone. I think that is such a good point that you made. And I do want to make sure people know that they can connect with you over at ltbourne.com. Yes. And again, that's ltbourne.com. And would you like to share a few more words about connecting with you after the show?
I mean, sure. You can also reach out to me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at I am LT Bourne. Again, I am LT Bourne, and that's on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. If you have any questions about the fatherless epidemic and my book, I'm an open book. I'll share anything with you guys, so feel free to reach out to me and ask any questions.
Awesome. And I wasn't quick enough, but here, that's now on the screen. I am LT Bourne on IG.
Thank you.
Awesome. Leo, thank you so much for being here today and just sharing your insights, your passion for empowering these men. As a female, it's inspiring and empowering to me too. And I just want to remind everybody that, you are not alone. Many people in my circle, they know that I also host a show called Every Day is a New Day, because it's all about no 2 days have to be alike. Even if you've been living the same day over and over, tomorrow does not have to be just like yesterday. You get to choose And Leo, you shared lots of great tips for that today. So Leo, thank you for being here today. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Kim. It's been a pleasure. I really hope your audience took in the message, and it's been a blast being on the Thrive Show.
Thank you. Awesome. Well, stay right there, Leo. I'm going to close out with a video outro, and we'll see you all again very soon. And if you haven't yet joined the Let Your Light Shine movement, do go ahead and do that. We'll see you over there, and bye for now, everybody. Here we go.